Hey guys, before we start this video, I just want to quickly say, if you are expecting every single modification in this video, it is not happening. But you can get every single modification in any of these videos. This is a year wrap-up of the modifications I've done in the last year, along with all the other ones. There's also a Google Doc down below in the description that you can track. I update it every single time I do something new to see every single modification done to the NC Miata. With that being said, hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Welcome to the NC Miata, and we're stuck in traffic. What else is new on this channel? Every single time we try to go for a drive anywhere, whether it's in Texas, Missouri, wherever, we get stuck in traffic, and I'm stuck behind a rock truck that is just blasting rocks all over the place. So we do this kind of video every single year. We do a year ownership review of modifications that I've done to the car. And like I said at the beginning, this isn't going to be every single modification I've done to the Miata in 8 years, because that video would take forever to do. If you want to watch previous years, go back and just click on the 6 year, 7 year. I think it goes back to 3 years worth of ownership in mods, and this is year 8. So 8 years is absolutely crazy to even think of. This is the longest I've owned a car before, the most fun I've had with a car before, and it's 2011, so I've owned this car for over half of its life now, well over half of its life, which is pretty cool. So I am the main owner, I guess you could say now. This car's been through so many changes, so many experiences, track days, autocross, engine swaps, rare parts, not rare parts, I mean, just, it's the whole spectrum of things you can do in a Miata. It's just, they're so fun. Everything about it is fun. And let's talk about the modifications I've done in the last year of ownership. God, it's so fun. All right, so let's start with the modifications that we've done to the exterior or body of this car in the last year. Huge things, big projects, big money. This is my favorite way that the car has ever looked, ever. I'm so happy at how it sits right now, and I've still got plans for the future on things that I really feel will complete the look of the overall appearance of the car and theme and everything like that. Starting with the big one, the big project. This was 2.5 swap V2 as far as projects go for me, was the NA Miata retrofit taillights. I spent a long time working on those, one taillight at a time. Basically, if you didn't watch that series, you should definitely go check it out. It's not very long, but I ordered a set of NA Miata taillights, cut them open, ordered a set of NC Miata taillights, cut them open, and we spliced in the lenses from the NA light into the NC housing, and they fit perfect. It's like they were made for the car. Just the look, the design, it's so good. I love them so much. I'm very proud of them. There's a little bit of things that I want to do to adjust them to make them look even better. But for my first go at it, I think it came out as good as they could. And I absolutely love them. I think it makes it look so unique, but also it just looks like a Miata still. There's no denying. You see it and you're like, oh yeah, it's a Miata, because it is. Second thing, Super Taiku series, Murakami Motors, carbon fiber mirrors. These mirrors were my first big Japanese part and purchase, I guess you could say, and took forever to get them. They were made to order. They're beautiful. I love how they look. They're really small. They look like race car mirrors. They work like race car mirrors. You can't really see very well out of them, but they look the part for the car. It matches everything, and super cool to have those. Another thing we did to complete the kind of JDM theme was add the Roadster side markers to the front. I still need to hook up the turn signals to those, but I know a lot of you guys hated it, and it's funny because a lot of the JDM Euro guys, they don't want them. They want the USDM vendors. So it's kind of like a, hey, you don't get that sort of thing and you want it. That's kind of why I did it, because it's just different. Not a lot of people have it. And I really enjoy them. They don't bother me. They've grown on me. I think they're cool. and I just need to hook them up and make them work the rest of the way. And then going to the rear end of the car, where a lot of the transformation has taken place, is our third brake light delete panel from GarageBerry. That was a really cool part to get. Waited a while for that as well. I haven't replaced it yet with anything. I've just been running it as is, got it color matched and everything. It's a great color match. It has, it's moved a little bit. It's got one little crack in it, which I think has a lot to do with just like how the car flexes and the hardtop, how this like aftermarket hardtop sits on it. I don't think they play very nicely, but I really like the way it looks still. I'm happy I did it. And it's just something a lot of people don't have, and I'm gonna run it for as long as I can. And my favorite modification, pretty much of the year at least, is the Odula carbon fiber rear spoiler. So many of you hate it, so many of you love it. I love it. It's not for everyone, and that's fine. It's not your car. I think, like, out of all the spoilers I've seen, this has to be my favorite one. The way it fits, the way it looks, I think it's just the most perfect combination, especially with the GT mirrors, the carbon fiber roof, the carbon fiber spoiler. Like I've said in the past, I'm not a huge carbon fiber guy, but just the three kind of big exterior features of carbon fiber really, really work well together. And it's not overpowering, like not everything is carbon fiber, but to have the three little bits of carbon fiber, super, super cool. Love it. That is like my favorite modification of the year, is that spoiler. Quickly, let's go over changes to the interior. We've only done one. It was the P2M checkerboard floor mats. Love them. I think they're cool. Now that was a recent video actually, so go check that out if you're interested to see what I'm talking about, because they're unique. They're cheap and unique, and I think I'm gonna just buy some new ones every so often and replace them so they're so like still fresh and everything. But otherwise, cool mod. Jumping down to our suspension, we also paired with another P2M Phase 2 motor trend is the adjustable tie rods. These helped out with the bump steer, and they've definitely made a little bit of a difference. I have to adjust the ride height some still, and I adjusted the dampening in the car the other day, and it's definitely fixed it. But I mean, the car, it's very, very solid. It feels like it's riding on rails, but it's always felt like it's been riding on rails, so I can't really complain too much about it. But I will say that the tie rod, the adjustability of the tie rods has made a difference in how the car feels on turns where the road is a little bit more rough than it would be usual. We also replaced the RX-8 front sway bar with a Flying Miata adjustable front sway bar. And I did adjust that up one level because the RX-8 one is not adjustable. So I put it on the stiffest setting, and it's definitely the way I wanted it to. One thing I always felt like, on track especially, I always had a weird soft feeling in the front. And I think it's because that both of my sway bars were the same RX-8 yellow dot. So with a stiffer front sway bar and a little bit looser rear sway bar, it's definitely felt a lot better in how I imagined it should. Car always felt good, but when you start pushing things, you really kind of notice where it could be better. We also threw in some Delrin door bushings. Those are cheap, easy. One of my first mods that I ever did to the car, and I replaced them. So if you guys haven't seen that video, it's really short, and they're really, really cheap to do. I like them. It's fun, and you know, it's always fun to do cheap mods. And last, for our suspension components, we did some body bracing or stiffening. We did the Nilex front knuckle supports. Those were a good modification to do if you are tracking. I don't track that much, but in my video, like I said, people who do track do the modification, and part of me just likes shiny things, so I picked those up used off BuyE Japan, and for the price, it was, you know, pretty much a no-brainer to pick them up and install them. I can't tell if they've done a difference, but I see what they're supposed to do. I understand the engineering behind it. Just knowing that they're there gives me some confidence in whether or not I, you know, would worry about that sort of thing in the future. And finally, we are going to talk about the engine modifications that we've done this year, which are also kind of far and few between. We focused a lot on the body and the way the car looks this year, which is really what I wanted to do. I did the 2.5 swap and all of that. And the engine-wise, the car has felt great. It's driven great. So I haven't really wanted to upgrade things too much. Like, next steps for me are forced induction, and we're not quite there yet. But engine-wise, we added the little Dave Fab fuse box cover, which some of you thought was a waste of money, and I should spend that whole $25 on something else for the car. So I don't know what to tell you. It's a cool little touch to the engine bay if you wanted to do that sort of thing. Then the last few videos we've been putting out are the intake videos. We have done the Auto EXE intake, the open filter, short ram style intake, and we also paired that with the Jetstream carbon fiber intake chamber, and the car sounds really good. It's not ITBs, it's not a turbo, but it sounds way better than the cold air intake. The car just growls and it sounds mean, and when you're full throttle hitting 7,000 RPM, it's like heaven. It just sounds so good. I love it. It's cool parts too. Got all of those from Japan. And that is basically it for modifications we've done this year. It's hot in here. I had the air conditioning fixed at one point, and I don't know what happened. It's not there anymore. So it's very hot in here. And more than happy to close this video out for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for another year of watching the Miata evolve and change, and find things you liked about it and find things that you disliked about it, leaving your comments, your suggestions, all of that stuff. Big plans for the future. As always, I've always got a running list of things I want to get for the car, from tires to new wheels to forced induction to more body parts, and it's always going to change. I'm going to be making one of these videos every year. I've got to make one for the GTI as well, so you GTI fans, get ready for that, because we'll have a much temperature-wise cooler video for going over 3 years of ownership in the GTI. But just thank you guys again. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful. All of the things we talk about, there's a Google Doc down below, like I said at the beginning, where you can see the running list of parts that I update every single time I do something new. All the playlists on the YouTube channel, all the videos on the YouTube channel, everything you need on this YouTube channel. So go down below and